Commander, there is a new message in your private terminal. The next Mass Effect might be eliminating open-world content and returning to its tried-and-true corridor shooter formula. And if true, this is very exciting, and probably the best thing BioWare could do. The latest Mass Effect 5 rumor was briefly mentioned by industry insider Jez Corden on the Xbox 2 podcast.
I've heard the Mass Effect is ditching open world and going back to its classic format. I don't know if that's accurate, 100%, but it's an industry rumor.
BioWare returning to the classic format of a corridor shooter with closed world hubs like Ilium, Omega, and the Citadel makes a lot of sense. Mass Effect 2 and 3 had no open world elements to it, and based on a poll on this channel, were the favorite titles among Mass Effect fans during first playthroughs. In a separate poll on the channel asking community members what they most want in the next game, an overwhelming number voted for trilogy-level storytelling. And the best way to tell trilogy-level storytelling is to return to a gameplay style that favors BioWare's winning formula. In the original Mass Effect, you could roam planets, fight Thresher Maws, struggle your way up ridiculously steep mountains, cry your way down those same ridiculously steep mountains, and uncover old artifacts. In Andromeda, the open world format was greatly expanded on, and featured 6 worlds that you could freely explore. The issue with this, however, were the quests became harder to obtain and finish in a coherent way. Frequently, quests were picked up on one planet and had to be finished on a separate one. And with long loading times into the Tempest, the time spent traveling to the desired planet, and loading into the planet, there was a lot of time wasted. Closed world hubs like Omega in Mass Effect 2 and the Citadel in Mass Effect 3 allowed for much tighter storytelling, and created a fleshed out feeling to the Mass Effect universe. New NPC conversations could be overheard while walking through familiar spaces, providing an avenue for world building and adding overall realness to every session played. Sometimes the actual setting physically changed, like after the Citadel was attacked in Mass Effect 3, adding to the urgency of the story. And sometimes things never changed, like the desperate human trying to get into Afterlife. Rumor has it that he's still trying to get in 13 years later.
Come on, let me in. Ari's expecting me. Ugh.
Annoyed. If she were expecting you, you'd be inside.
BioWare returning to closed world hubs and corridor shooter missions is very exciting, because it means they're playing to their strengths. The veteran team that BioWare keeps reiterating worked primarily with the trilogy format of closed world hubs and corridor missions, so the rumor does have weight. The one thing I will add is I hope the next Mass Effect keeps the combat format of Mass Effect Andromeda. For me, the combat system and fights were one of the funnest parts of the game. I think most Mass Effect fans that have played all 4 games in the series can usually agree that Andromeda's combat system was an upgrade and very, very fun. Fluidly changing your class instead of permanently being stuck with only one for each playthrough was an excellent change. Even if the missions return to the corridor format, I hope the Mass Effect team can find a way to include varied fighting environments and keep the fluid class system. So, a solid positive for the next Mass Effect, if the rumor is indeed true. And now we simply have to wait out N7 Day for another piece of news / head-scratching hint. Let me know your thoughts on BioWare potentially scrapping the open world format. And if you want even more Mass Effect content, go check out the craziest theory out there for the next Mass Effect, the multiverse theory. Until then, I'm Atharia, and this is my favorite franchise on the Citadel.
Logging you out, Shepard.